Activity 1.3 is called the Germ Guide app, and what you're going to do is you're going to take the skills you've already learned in Activity 1.1 and 1.2 and apply those to Activity 1.3. This is where you're going to start to build and create your first app. Essential questions: in what ways does technology affect people's lives? How do computer scientists design and develop mobile apps that meet desired needs? Materials: headset. You already have headsets, or I'm sure some of you have brought in earbuds as well. This resource right here, later on you're going to have to download that, and basically all you do is you click on it to download it, and then you go into App Inventor and you import it, and it will walk you through the steps in just a little bit. First part up here is going to kind of set the stage for you. Why an app? Why are you building an app? What's the purpose of this particular app? It is called the Germ Guide app, and the neat thing behind it is it could be associated with natural disasters. So if there were a natural disaster somewhere, this app could come into handy. So it is a real-world app that you are going to build. A couple of vocabulary terms here: incremental approach and program. Make sure that those both find their way into your notebooks. App design and development. This is going to take you through the process of what it looks like to actually create the app, kind of the behind-the-scenes part of app creation as well. It's a very interesting video. A couple of questions here to reflect on when you're done. End user, make sure you understand that what the end user means. It's a representative consumer for whom a hardware or software product is designed. For instance, a company has come to you and asked you to build and create an app for them. The end user is who is going to be using this specific app or product or whatever you're going to create. Design time. One of the most important things with this app is to take the time to read through the design requirements. The design requirements would be, if a company contacted you to create the app for them, these are the notes that you took down. You need to have a screen that does this. It has two buttons. Here's the buttons. Here's everything laid out for you. Back buttons, when pressed, should change, set the UI to the home screen, and UI just stands for user interface. And that'll make more sense once you get into the App Inventor website. Takes you through what the view layer is. It's basically just the part of the app that the user is actually going to see and interact with. This is really nice right here. So basically what they did was they took the design requirements that you've already taken the notes on, and they converted that into pictures and images. So this is what your app should be able to do when you get it completely finished. Here's your home screen. When you click waterborne diseases, it takes you to the waterborne diseases screen, and you will have to create these three screens here. So the crowding screen, waterborne, and vector-borne screens. The directions in Activity 1.3 will show you how to make the crowding screen work, and then there's an optional extension at the bottom which you need to do. That way you can get the waterborne and vector-borne diseases screens to work as well. PLTW Gateway Notebook. Every time you see that, make sure you take the time to write your answers and reflections in your notes. Talks a little bit about events. What is an event? What does that mean? What does it look like? Event handlers. There's a lot of event handlers in the coding that we're going to do. The event handler is a block of code that's triggered when a certain event happens. So for instance, when I push measles, all these things happen. It plays the audio file. It does other things. So that's the event handler. It handles or holds all your events. And I'm going to kind of gloss over some of this real quickly, but I am assuming and hoping that you're going to be reading through and taking good notes on this. Here's your event handler. Here's the first event, and then here's all the events afterwards. Begin building here. So you're going to download the app. Again, you just click on it, and it will probably say in the bottom right hand corner, show in clipboard or something like that. Just close it. These AIA files can only be opened in App Inventor. So if you download it and then you try to open it in downloads, it's not going to work. So what you have to do is you have to download it. It goes to your downloads. You just leave it there for now, and then you will actually go into App Inventor. So if I click on App Inventor here, the first time I come to App Inventor, I'm going to click on Create Apps. It's going to ask you a couple questions. Just read through the questions, figure out what it's asking you to do. It's not too complicated there. If it asks you anything here, I'm just going to put do not show again and continue. So now I'm going to go back to my directions, select projects, import project from my computer. So I'm going to go to this one. I'm going to go to projects, import project.aia, which is App Inventor application from my computer. So I click on it, and then I'm going to find where my downloads are. I'm going to open up the file that I just downloaded, which should be called Germ Guide. And I'll show you what that looks like once it's loaded. So then once it imports, it's going to set you up with a home screen, and it's going to contain other screens as well. Now I've changed the colors for these, but yours will be black on black, so it's going to have a black button with a black background. And then it's going to also have the other screens right up here. It's going to give you the directions to make the crowding screen work. Please understand that you need to make the vector screen and the water screen work as well. I'm going to come back here to the directions. And what I'm doing is I'm reading the directions, and then I'm coming right over here to make it work. So it's going to show you some different questions. Select this icon on your phone or tablet to open the App Inventor application, it's basically the companion, which is on our tablet. So when you get to this part, you need to grab a tablet from our cart, find the MIT App Inventor app, and then it's going to take you through what to do right here. Here's how you get to other screens. If you click on these eyes, it gives you some information. It says screen 1, and then if you click on this is the blocks. This is where you build the code. It takes you through and it shows you, okay, I can click on screen 1, I can drop down. So I'm going to click on screen 1, drop down, there's my crowding screen. And then you're going to start to build the crowding screen. Select the screen's align horizontal property to center. Now if you notice here, it says viewer, the components, and the properties. So right now they are selected on crowding screen, and they're coming down to the align horizontal right here. Pay very close attention when you're reading through and watching these to make sure you understand that you're doing what it says. So in my project, I'm doing what the instructions just showed me what to do. There's a lot of instructions. I'm going to keep going here. Make sure you change the property. The property, again, is right over here. There's the components. This is the viewer. This is your palette. This is what you're putting into your app. I'm going to keep going. There's quite a few instructions there that you're reading through and understanding how to make it work. It shows you how to put in your MP3, how you have to match a source, how you change the colors. There's a lot of really cool things that you're going to do with this particular app. Actually, here is where you're talking about the audio, the MP3s. When I get down here, this is going to start to look at create this event handler. This is an event handler right here. What it means is it's going to start when something happens. So in this case, when meningitis button is clicked, it's going to play the meningitis. It's going to play that audio. As long as I've matched the source and I've set up the code correctly, it works every single time. This optional extension you need to do. Make sure you do this optional extension. It's not optional. You need to build the UI for the remaining screens. Use the crowding screen as your reference to set up the remaining vectors and water screens. The properties of all components should be the same for each screen. So once I get the crowding screen set up correctly, I'm then going to go and make the vector screen and the water screen work as well. Then you're going to go down here. You're going to check in PowerSchool Learning to answer any questions. All right, thanks a lot. That's activity 1.3.